Hey y'all, how y'all doing? First off, thanks to everybody that came by and hung out with Miss Elizabeth. She is special. That's a sharp woman right there. Over on her channel this morning, y'all see the title here. This is something we had brought up. We had touched on it a little bit. We didn't like going to the gut of it, but we touched on it. I'm going to give a little more. I'm not gonna like beat you over the head with it, but I'm gonna give a little more here. Let me go ahead and turn this on, and it's on coal, because like we were saying, okay, we got powers that be playing with us with the crude oil game. Now, granted, the same Department of Energy is over the coal game as well, but when you look at something that can help stave off but the thing is, coal isn't on the petrodollar. You see what I'm saying? Coal isn't on the petrodollar, and so that can bring revenue into these coal purveyors, which also trickles down to the men that work the mines and the transporters. What transporters? There ain't no transporters. Au contraire, mon frere. Hold what you got. I'll get you straightened out. But first, let's get this Reuters story out of the way. Then we'll go ahead and we'll take to the water, okay? Ship loaded. This was the 9th, which was Monday of last week. Yeah, Monday of last week, the 9th. You see what it says? Ship loaded with Russian coal docks in Spanish port of Gijon. I know I'm probably not saying it right. I'm pronouncing it as French, but my brain when I see it, my brain thinks French. I'm sorry. Madrid. A Maltese flagged ship carrying a Maltese flagged. Well, who's that, Nick? Look it up. You'll be surprised. Well, you probably won't be surprised. A Maltese flagged ship carrying Russian coal and petroleum coke has docked in the northern Spanish port of Gijon, port authorities said on Monday. Another Maltese flag ship loaded with Russian crude docked in Cartagena, southern Spain, on Friday, authorities confirmed. The EU approved sanctions against imports of coal, wood, chemicals, and other products such as vodka from Russia on April the 8th, in a bid to cut trade after Moscow's invasion of Ukraine. I'm telling you, I don't think this is one of them lovers' quarrels that we shouldn't even be involved in. Whoever wins, wins. Whoever loses, loses. Just stand back and watch the sparks fly. But that's me. That's just me. I'm not trying to get anyone to advocate or go with what I think should be. You know, you got your own mind. I got mine. We good? We good. Okay, let's go. Although the sanctions are not yet fully enforced. Okay. Russian ships are banned from calling in Spanish ports. Maybe we call it hailing in the military, but I guess you say hailing. I guess it's probably better that they did put calling for, because this is for civilian consumption. A transport ministry spokesman said on Monday, but the EU ban on vessels from other countries loaded with Russian goods is not enforced yet, she added. On April 27th, another Maltese flagged vessel tried to enter the port of Barcelona but was denied access because it was carrying cargo transferred from a Russian ship under sanctions, Spain's transport ministry said in a statement at the time. So basically, they transferred the cargo from a Russian ship onto a Maltese flagged ship and tried to get it in. Didn't pass muster. Okay, so just give you a little taste of that so you get an idea of what you're dealing with here. Okay, now let's get on to the next part here. Okay, next, this is from uscoalexports.org. I will put the link because 2 of the stories is from here. I'm going to hit the high points, but you can go back and click on them. They'll be in the description box where you can read them in its entirety and hyperlink at your leisure. Okay, cause remember the speech Barack Obama said, well, not a speech, his thing, what he said about the coal industry.
Let me sort of describe my overall policy. I mean, what I've said is that we would put a cap and trade system in place that is as aggressive, if not more aggressive, than anybody else's out there. I was the first to call for 100% auction on the cap and trade system, which means that every unit of carbon or greenhouse gases was emitted would be charged to the polluter. That will create a market in which whatever technologies are out there that are being presented, whatever power plants that are being built, that they would have to meet the rigors of that market and the ratcheted down caps that are imposed every year. So if somebody wants to build a coal-powered plant, they can. It's just that it will bankrupt them because they're going to be charged a huge sum for all that greenhouse gas that's being emitted. That will also generate billions of dollars that we can invest in solar, wind, biodiesel, and other alternative energy approaches.
Yeah, that right there. That should have been a wake-up call for a whole bunch of people, but it wasn't. They figured if we get control of and you have to remember, the first 2 years, President Obama had a filibuster-proof House because he had Congress, he had the Senate and the House. Executive branch, the Senate and the House was all Democrat. So for 2 years, he pretty much had a free run. And even on some of the things he wanted to do, even the Democrats was like, ooh, you're doing a bit too much. Now, you know, it's bad when you try to push some things through and your support on it from a fully Democrat filibuster proof House wouldn't pass muster. I mean, the Republicans couldn't stop anything if they wanted to. Hell, half the time the Republicans couldn't blow their nose if you put a handkerchief in their freaking hand half the time, but a different video for a different day. But you know what I'm saying. So anyway, like I said, the deck was already stacked against the coal industry. Forget the fact with how many coal-fired plants we still have. Forget the fact with how many coal-fired boilers we still have. Forget the fact, you just forget it. You know, just forget it. But anyway, let's hit these bullet points. And you see what it says, coal sanctions, which we know who the sanctions are against, open to shoot for more U.S. exports to Europe because the Ruskies have cut off sending coal and oil, and they turned off the switch for electricity for the time being to Finland. They're cutting people off. So a lot of people, oh crap, what are we gonna do? Well, don't worry. But still, you ain't saying how the hell we gonna get the coal there, man. Hold on, dog. Patience is a virtue. Okay, patience, dear Prudence, patience. Coal sanctions open the chute for more U.S. exports to Europe. The U.S. coal industry is primed to boost exports. That means money. After the European Union targeted Russian coal for additional sanctions Tuesday. And this story was April the 19th. Leading one executive to say, quote, "This bodes extremely well," close quote, for domestic producers. See, the Department of Energy here then dumped a whole bunch of poop on American companies, American states, and American counties and cities that run coal-fired stuff. A lot of places in Europe, especially in the eastern part going towards Eastern Europe, they don't have no such sanctions. They like, okay, we'll take the coal, please, because they gonna burn it, which is what coal is good for. And even once it's extinguished, the slag and clinker is crushed up. Well, we do it here, and you put it in road material, so it don't really. Some goes to waste, but yeah, I know they talk about smoke and air scrubbers and carbon scrubbers, and yeah, good. Look, I'll let the tree huggers do their thing. I'm gonna do my thing. I'm gonna stick to the story. Meanwhile, Central Appalachia coal prices heated up to a 13-year high of $106 a ton. A ton is 2,000 pounds, okay? The highest level since 2008, while Illinois basin prices jumped to $109 a ton. Yes, they have coal in Illinois and in Ohio and in Indiana. According to data from the U.S. Energy Information Administration, prices and exports are expected to increase, with the ban worth $4.4 billion annually. Will cut another important revenue source for Russia, and they ain't gonna like that. European Commission President Ursula von der Leyen, I'm sorry, Ursula, I know I'm screwing your name up, said in a statement, as of 2020, the European Union relied on Russia for 19% of its coal. That's a fifth, a tick away from a fifth, according to the European Commission's Eurostat site. EU imports went up in 2020. Chris Hamilton, president of the West Virginia Coal Association, I probably ain't say it right, West Virginia Coal Association, told Capital.com, even though this isn't Capital.com, this is uscoalexports.org, that Europe started increasing its coal imports around 2020 when issues started to plague green energy sources. I shouldn't be laughing, but I am. Sorry, not sorry. Europe has been increasing coal shipments to offset its renewable problems. Renewable ain't as renewable as they want you to think. He said, with Russia's unprovoked attack on Ukraine, that's their words, not mine, U.S. coal exports could increase more than 50% in 2020. The U.S. exported about 62 million tons, according to the EIA. Okay? I think this bodes extremely well for U.S. coal. Seaborne thermal coal traded above $400 a ton in early March. What the hell is seaborne thermal? There you go again. Patience. That's why you don't know, because you have no patience. After a natural gas scarcity in Europe drove utilities globally to switch from gas to coal. And a lot of the smaller communities in Eastern Europe, they didn't dismantle their coal-fired furnaces. Only the holier than thou age of enlightenment wannabe people did. And guess who's freezing and guess who isn't? But anyway, Germany returned to coal. Blah, blah. Like I say, y'all can read it because I don't want to be here. I want to hold y'all all night. Then y'all can read it at your leisure. I'll put the link in the description. Banks say no to fossil fuel loans. That has something to do with us, but it don't have nothing to do with us. U.S. thermal coal miners usually contract with utilities on a 12 to 24 month agreements where the price normally is below $50 a ton for most domestic producers. However, he said recent contracts have been more favorable for the miners, both in pricing and duration. This could lead to improved financial results and share prices in the future for major miners. View article here. So if you want to, you'll be able to click there and read it. Okay, let's get going to the next one. Same website. We're just going to touch this one. You see 11 coal ships depart from Baltimore in weekend at March 21st. A lot of people didn't know. I didn't learn of this until about 25 or so years ago, that Baltimore was a major export hub for coal shipments. I had no idea. I knew it left the United States somehow. I just didn't know from where. And I know Pennsylvania, of course, big coal producing state. 11 coal laden ships departed from Bmore in the weekend, March 21st. I wonder if they had bullet holes in them. Up from six from a week earlier, according to Sea Flow Platts trade flow software. Total dead weight tonnage, 842, up from 608 the prior week. 6 coal carriers remained in the Americas, with 2 traveling to Brazil. I ain't even going to try to say that. With estimated arrival dates April 5th and April 6th, so they're there already. While 2 are headed to Florida, with 1 expected to reach Fort Lauderdale and 1 reach Jacksonville. That one gonna have bullet holes in it too. On March 23rd, 1 ship is scheduled to arrive in Point Lisas, Trinidad and Tobago on March 24th. Another in Punta Catalina, Dominican Republic on March 25th. The remaining 5 coal carriers are headed to Europe, with 2 scheduled to make it to Gibraltar on March 28th and March 30th, 1 to Emden, Germany on March 26th. The final ships are destined to arrive in Valletta, Malta on April the 3rd. That Malta, remember the ships that under the Maltese flag that had Russian products on it that Spain put the kibosh on? Do you think that's a coincidence? If you do, I got a bridge in Brooklyn. I'll sell you real cheap. I'll even throw in a free paint job. On April 3rd and Nemrut, Turkey on April the 10th. In the next week, 10 coal ships are expected to arrive in Baltimore by March 28th, down from 12 a week earlier. According to Seaflow, 6 of the expected coal carriers are unladen and 5 are laden. In the prior week, 9 were unladen and 3 were laden. There you go. The Global Platts assessed loading $65.15, up 75 cents. In 2020, Baltimore shipped out 4-year low, up from 2019. Baltimore, the second largest coal export port in the United States after Norfolk, Virginia, was bituminous coal. The remaining 37.1% was metallurgical coal. It was the largest share for thermal exports in over 9 years. Another link. Next. We're getting there. Well, you ain't showed us the ship yet. No problem there, Jethro. There's your ship. And actually, the actual name for it was, you can call it coal ship, coal carrier, is called a collier. That's the original name of it. They used to, during when our battleships were coal fired before we had nuclear powered, battleships and frigates and, cruisers and all of the other stuff, they would have to take a collier. A collier would go out. They would be strategically placed. Now you're playing chess and playing hide go seek with them, because you would have to hide in the middle of the ocean. The colliers would be strategically placed, and of course they would have to be protected very well, because you sink a collier and all them tons of coal goes down. And they had a rather unique way of getting the coal from the collier to the battleships. Now, I'm quite sure there's a YouTube video somewhere. I'm quite sure they're out there, but there's your coal ships right there, and they fill these puppies up. Those hatches open, they're individual wells, and they fill them with coal. And you close it up, of course, keep the water, seawater, and all that other stuff out, because you ain't getting paid to haul seawater, you're getting paid to haul coal. Even got a little heliport thing on the top of it. Captain's mast, anchors. I know it's going to be too big. So that one's Japanese. Akatsuki, I'm guessing. Is that Japanese? There's your coal carriers. Look at all that coal. Look at that. You see the hatches are open. See, the hatches are open. Then the chutes, you come over and you fill them up. There's one right there. They filling this one right here. If you're on the smartphone, you probably got I don't know if the pinch thing worked on your phone or not. But anyway, this stuff, there's your ships, Jethro. That's how they get them. Now this one, this is a collier. This is a bend. This don't go over out in the open ocean. This like normally just runs up and down the harbor, or there's a storage facility where they store the coal not far off site. That's not an open ocean vessel like that is. That's an open ocean vessel. Loading. You can see the coal going in, coming off this chute. That one's easy to see. He still has his open, ain't even closed his lids yet. Coal, the dirty little secret, looks like it's gonna be a major player once again. And the powers that be can complain of how Cole done this and how dirty and how it's filth. Oh, wow. Hey, look at that. That's a Russian ship. Coal powered this nation as well as others, but I'll stick to this one. Coal powered this nation for hundreds of years, and is more thermally efficient than whale blubber. Because remember, they used to be whalers that they would go out and harpoon and kill whales. Get a little bit of meat and a lot of bit of oil for your lanterns and lamps and whatnot. Light, that's what it was used for. Well, coal, it can be used for, look at the size of that booger there. That's a tugboat. Look how it just storms over the size of them tugboats. Yeah, what it say? Y'all can't see it over here. It says huge coal ship. That's what it did. Damn, that thing is big. Look at the size of that behemoth. Oh yeah, coal exports expanded trade flow from the Panama Canal. That's what this say. Because you can shorten a trip, going through the canal. There's another conveyor set up. Hatches open. I guess it must fill it. I don't know if this, I guess this moves, this mast system, I'm assuming, moves from hatch to hatch, because I guess it's probably easier than it is to actually move the boat. I'm just guessing, y'all. I'm just guessing on that. Don't take that as word as bond, because it's not. Look at them. There's a whole flotilla of them. So there you go, folks. Looks like coal is back on the menu, folks. Y'all be good and be safe. Bye.